Hey y'all, just want to make sure that I'm recording. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Welcome to the space, y'all. As always, I hope you guys are having a good season so far. These messages are going to be for Saturn in Aries. Okay, so the energy of Aries is at work in our lives at this time. And that's because Saturn has decided that Aries needs to be paid a visit. And wherever you have Aries in your chart, or whatever type of Aries energy is at work in your life, whether through leadership, through, you know, opening pathways, right? Being a trailblazer, wherever the energy of Aries is in your life, in relationships, communication, your career, or just your spiritual existence, we're going to talk about that today regarding what Saturn is trying to communicate to each and every one of you, all of us, for your sun, moon, and rising placements. Please check your your moon or rising placements for these messages. Let's go ahead and jump into it, you guys. So we're going to pull some oracle messages and some tarot, and then towards the end of the reading, I will pull one last oracle message as your overall advice on how you can deal with whatever is on its way to you, or whatever Saturn has in store for you, whatever Saturn needs you to work on. Saturn's energy is all about you, okay? And we're going to read for the sign of Gemini right now. So Gemini, sun, moon, and rising placements. Take what resonates, leave what does not. Saturn is all about, now I'm speaking to you guys, but on an individual level, Saturn zooms in on you. The magnifying glass, the hot seat, whatever, however you feel during Saturn in Aries for the next, it's going to be in Aries for the next couple of years, okay? I believe for the next 3 years. It's all about you. And that can mean a variety of, of different things in your life. Whatever it is that you are not paying attention to, whatever it is that you don't want to face about yourself, whatever it is that you felt that you had in the bag, or you thought that you mastered it, or you thought that, you were good, like you were okay, right? Saturn is going to be here to check up on that and see if you actually are doing well or not. Okay? And Saturn is here to teach us how to, begin this master class of, existence. So we're going to go ahead and see. And this is for both tropical and sidereal astrology, Gemini. So again, if you are a Gemini in either tropical or sidereal astrology, this message is for you. Okay. As I've said in my other readings, for this tropical and sidereal astrology, a Gemini, if you are a Gemini and you only really look at your Western or tropical astrology, you're more than likely going to resonate with more of the tangible and physical aspects of this reading, of your pertaining to your life, money, finances, your job, your health, your family, relationships, things like that, your home. But if you are a Gemini in sidereal astrology or Vedic astrology, the reading is more than likely going to pinpoint your spiritual existence and what you need to work on in regards to that. So Gemini, sun, moon, and rising placements, ancestors of light, messengers of light, guardians and protectors, please speak through me to the sign of Gemini. So the signs of Gemini, sun, moon, and rising placements for this Saturn in Aries transit. What does Saturn have to speak to Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising placements about during this Saturn in Aries placements, during Saturn's visit to Aries? What is Saturn trying to speak to them about? What is Saturn trying to present to them? What is Saturn needing them to focus on for these next few years? All right, let's go ahead and see Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. For Saturn in Aries, ancestors be with me. All right, Gemini, let's go ahead and see. Also, Gemini, if you have Saturn in Aries, you are more than likely experiencing your Saturn return, okay? And that's huge. So, Gemini, you received study. So this has something to do with the mind. It has something to do with intellect. It has something to do with education. Some of you guys during this Saturn return, if you're having a Saturn return, you guys are going back to school. Others of you, even if you're not experiencing your Saturn return at this time, you are more than likely thinking about going back to school. Others of you, some of you guys are thinking, you know, about actually going to study something very specific during this Saturn return, and it's actually going to bring about a lot of success. Bottom of the deck, you received abundance. So again, you guys are definitely going to see abundance here. Now, we're going to go ahead and see what your journey is looking like overall, okay, in regards to this study energy. But there is so much of the world that is going to open up to you during this time of studying, okay? Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to go to a college or university in person. This can be online classes. Others of you, you'll just start picking up books or going to the library and starting to read and study on your own independently to gather some type of knowledge about something that you really are interested in, okay? Some of you guys, Saturn is showing you that you have some very powerful hands, meaning whatever your hands touch, Gemini, there is like a plethora of blessings that you bring to the table, everything that you touch. Whether that be you going to be, you know, study to be a teacher, a psychologist, a medical professional, a historian. I don't know, but there's something here. As you study this information, you will have such powerful knowledge. And Gemini, you guys are all about the brain. You're all about the mind, right? And Gemini is, you know, there's twins. You guys are kind of, you know, represented by two people, the twins, which, you know, in astrology, in ancient astrology, those are angels, right? So it's interesting that you received an angel. Like Saturn is showing you that you have some gifts, natural born gifts. Okay, and some of you guys, this is definitely genetic. This is something that's been passed down through your bloodline. So Saturn is asking that you push yourself towards this education, okay? So if you've been kind of putting aside, no, I don't really want to go to school, I don't have the money, Saturn is saying you need to go to school, or you need to study this. Even if you are well educated, Gemini, for the most part, there is some type of study, some type of education that you need to entertain, or that you need to pick up, that you need to pursue. because this is going to be something very, very prosperous for you. Okay. Okay. Let's pull one more oracle message for now, and then we're going to jump into the tarot. Okay. One more message for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising placements for this Saturn in Aries transit for the next 2 years. What does Saturn in Aries want Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising placements to focus on, ancestors? Let's see. All right, let's see here, Gemini. Okay, so there goes that. So it's interesting that you guys received the green. It's green and red, but it's still, this card is still very green, very heart chakra based. Okay. Very interesting. You also got a green card. There's Jade. The recovery of health and wellness is here. So there are those of you, Gemini, you may have some type of health condition. You may need to change how you eat and what you are eating. There may be some things you need to sacrifice. Some of you guys are definitely going into the medical field, okay? Or you're, studying to be a nutritionist. Some of you guys need to be well studied in the foods that you eat. Whether, some of you guys may be studying botany, okay? Ayurveda, there can be a lot of like maybe ancient, medicinal practices. Some of you guys, depending on what tribe you're from, what family you're from, it just depends. But there is an energy of working at a hospital for some of you. Some of you guys are needing to completely change your routine, your eating habits, okay? If you're consuming something too much under this Saturn return, your health can do a complete turnaround, okay? It can do a complete 180 during the Saturn return, okay? Bottom of the deck, you have another green card, or not a green card, but a green stone, and you have Periodot, Gemini. So maybe these are some stones that you can keep on your person or wear, okay? Jade and Periodot, you may need to, or not need to, but you may, actually connect with that type of stone and see the results of that connection with that stone. And it says life lessons. It says you can break free from recurring negative patterns by praying to know the lesson and blessing they contain. So there's something here what Saturn is trying to teach you here when it comes to your health, when it comes to your overall lifestyle here, Gemini. And it has something to do with going to school. It has something to do with study, education, knowledge, okay? Once again, it doesn't have to necessarily be you going to apply to a school. It can just be you just picking up on a lot of books, picking up some books and reading and studying and rereading and restudying, taking notes and being well versed with those, within that knowledge and those books. So this seems like Saturn is really trying to teach you, Gemini, that there is some type of negative cycle, a negative pattern that is playing out in your life. It could be, it's definitely attached to your health. There's some type of unhealthy lifestyle choice that you constantly fall back into. And for these next 3 years, for these next couple of years, Saturn is here to say, okay, listen, this is not working. Like, if you want to charge forward toward your goals and your aspirations, your prosperity, if you want to go to school, let's just say that your goal is to go to school, but you're not really making healthy life decisions or healthy relationship decisions, whatever. Saturn is here to tell you, like, to really pinpoint that and cause you to kind of be in the hot seat with that, Gemini. It's not going to feel comfortable, but this is definitely a life cycle that needs to completely be dismantled. It needs to completely cycle out. It needs to be done. So whatever unhealthy life choices you have been making, it doesn't have to be something that you frequently do, right? It can be something that every single time a certain person comes around, you fall back into that pattern, right? Or every single time something bad happens, you fall back into that unhealthy pattern, right? Every time your heart is broken, somebody disappoints you, somebody upsets you, what have you, some of you guys may fall back into an unhealthy pattern of behavior. I'm also getting like the reading rainbow. For those of you who know, you know. Okay. I'm getting the reading rainbow. I don't know if you guys have kids, if they're into the reading rainbow, or if maybe when you were little, you were into the reading rainbow. Yeah. A lot of this, there's also diversity here. So I'm just getting this feeling, Gemini, for you under this Saturn return, that you want to experience the world. You want to know what more there is to know, what more is there to experience, right? You can experience those things. You can know those things. However, you got to cut out the negative pattern. You have to cut out this negative cycle. So every single time this person comes around, or this circumstance or any type of disappointment comes around, or heartbreak or whatever, you have to make the conscious choice, like, I'm not going to fall back into that. If there's somebody who ghosted you or something like that, you don't need to go chase after them. Just let them be, right? You move forward. You don't go chasing after anybody that is pushing you away, right? You don't go chasing after anything that is creating distance between you and your goals, between you and your prosperity. Does that make sense? All right, guys. So let's go ahead and see here. Let's pull some tarot. I got this tarot deck that I rarely use, so it's not really broken in yet. So we're going to go ahead and use this tarot deck today. It was calling to me the other day. For Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising placements, ancestors. For Saturn and Aries, what is the tarot speaking to them about? What do you have to use the tarot to say? What can you say to them using the tarot for this Saturn and Aries transit for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising placements? I'm going to pull 3 cards. All right. Okay. You have the 5 of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the Temperance card. Very fiery, Gemini. Very fiery. You want balance. This is, okay, we're talking about what Saturn wants for you, right? So I don't want to say too much about what you want necessarily, because it'll show when it get, like it's showing here in the oracle messages of the things that you want. But in the tarot, what it's showing me, I just got this energy of this is what Saturn wants for you. Take it or leave it, all right? Saturn is kind of done with you creating conflict in your life, Gemini. It's done with you creating conflict with the prayers that you want answered. Because with the 5 of Wands here, you have 2 people who are at odds with each other. They're not talking to each other, right? They're waiting for the next, either somebody wants the last say, or somebody wants the other person to have break the ice, right? We'll clarify these in a moment. But then we have the Ace of Wands. So And it's interesting, you have like a locket. There's a locket there. You have a red rose, so that's passion, that's love, right? So you have both, you have all three fire signs here. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So some of you guys have very strong fire in your chart. Others of you, you have a very fiery heart. You have a very fiery spirit, and you want things. You want a certain outcome. Some of you guys may be very ambitious, but there's just something here that's blocking you. Others of you, this Saturn return, you guys are definitely having you are definitely waking up. You are waking up and you're like, yes, I'm on board with this. This is exactly what I've been trying to do. This is exactly what I've been looking forward to. Okay. So for those of you who have been looking forward to this and you're just like, yep, I'm already on board with that. I'm already in sync with that. Great. This is going to be absolutely beautiful for you. The Temperance card here, this is Sagittarius energies. So some of you guys may have Sagittarius in your chart, but I see this as balance. So I know that a lot of people read this as reconciliation. It definitely can be. But I don't always see it as reconciliation with a person. This can be reconciling with yourself again. Like some of you guys, Gemini, you've lost yourself and you need to get back into sync with, you need to come back to safety within yourself before you can find safety with anybody else. Okay, so whether it's family, friends, romantic partner, or past romantic partner, an ex, whatever. Some of you guys are just getting back into studying. Like you miss reading, you miss writing, you miss some type of like education. Some of you guys, if you guys are artists, you're getting back into your art. You're finally like opening that business or starting the marketing process. Okay, you're finally putting up healthy boundaries. And with this locket here on the Ace of Wands, your blessings are they're waiting for you to unlock the door. They're waiting for, there is, you know, it's not like the door is necessarily locked towards you. You've locked the door. You're the one that was given the key, but for some reason you're not using it, Gemini. That's what I'm seeing here. Okay, so let me see what's at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so you have the Two of Pentacles. So yes, this is definitely like, what do I choose, right? What do I choose? Feeling like, okay, I want to be here, but I also need to be there. What is it that you need to do, Gemini, before you can go after, before you can get what you want? You need to unlock that door. You need to, okay, this is for those of you, I would say this is mostly for the Gemini sun signs, because we're going to talk, I'm getting into the more physical aspects, like the tangible material aspects of your lives, like relationships. For those of you, for your rising and your moon signs, you know, on a spiritual level, you guys need to unlock this door. You guys need to stop fighting with your prayers. When you pray for something, things are going to start happening. If you're not paying attention, you're going to think that your prayers are being blocked, but they're actually being answered, right? So if you're praying for, you know, patience, you know, or if you're praying, you know, like, I want to have a nice body or whatever, the body that I want, right? I want to start working out. I want to go to the gym and I want to do this. Well, you're not just going to get the motivation to do that. There's going to come moments where Saturn is going to show you, well, it's raining outside, or, you know, whatever's going on outside. You may feel, Gemini, I really don't feel like doing that. I've had a bad day. I really don't want to go to the gym, or I really don't want to eat, you know, I want to eat a donut, or I want to, you know, or I want to eat, I don't know. Or maybe some of you guys decide, like, I really am not hungry. I really don't want to eat anything, you know, because I'm depressed, or I'm disappointed, or I'm upset. You know, some people, they don't eat when they're going through things, right? But that's the part where you have to push through, Gemini. You need to push through. What is it that you need to do in order to get what you want? Right? What's meant for you is going to be there. but you got to make sure you're doing what you need to do. Does that make sense? Now, again, for those of you on I'm speaking to the sun sign Geminis right now. But if you're, well, actually, if you guys, all of you guys can listen to this for sure. But I feel like for those of you who are a Gemini sun sign, you might, actually resonate with this a little bit more. If you're a Gemini sun sign in Western astrology or tropical astrology, you may have somebody that you are at odds with right now, or in the past, or in the present, or even just ever so often, you get into this cycle of conflict, right? When you're having a bad day or they're having a bad day, you guys are just like, grr, you know what I mean? You guys are just, yelling at each other. And then you go through these periods where you don't want to talk to each other, or you don't want to break the ice. You guys are just holding on to your ego. However, in this relationship, you guys love each other very much. And it can be family relationships, it could be friendship, it can be a romantic partnership. And you may have Sagittarius or fire in your chart, or you're in a relationship with someone with a lot of fire in their chart, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. What I'm seeing here is that Saturn is asking you to stop this cycle with this person, because this person loves you. They want to be with you for sure. I'm not here to tell you guys to break up or stay with anybody. But there is, for those of you guys who are curious, Saturn is saying you guys are always going to reconcile. There's always going to be that energy of like, I want to be with you. I always want to talk to you. I always want to spend time with you. I always want to like converse with you, right? I want to share time with you. Okay, but there's just this energy of like, do I stay or do I go? Do I continue this relationship or do I move on to something better, right? You kind of have to be the one to make that decision, Gemini. Like, you and that person, you guys, like if that person is willing to reconcile and they're actually willing to talk to you and actually work things through and change and grow and transform with you, then this is going to definitely work out for you guys with this person. But if the other person is like still not wanting to face themselves during this Saturn in Aries transit, you kind of have to make the decision for yourself, like whether you want to continue to put up with this person's BS or their shenanigans or their disrespect, right? So it really does just boil down to a choice. It boils down to a choice. But however, this person, you and this person are always going to want to be around each other. You're always, no matter how many times you fight, but it's kind of turning into a cycle here. And I have a feeling that some of you Gemini, you guys know that this is a really unhealthy cycle with this person and that something needs to change. It needs to change. Okay? Because you really are passionate about this person. You really are. You feel very passionate about this person. You love them very much. If it's a friend, you really care about them. And you're just like, this is my friend. Like, I really love them. They're my bestie, whatever it is. And you always want to make sure that things are okay between you two. But, there's this unhealthy cycle that needs to end. Okay, so let's go ahead and clarify these cards really quickly. Let's clarify the Five of Wands for you guys. Let's clarify those. Why is the Five of Wands here for Gemini? For this Saturn and Aries transit. Why is the Five of Wands here? Okay, you have the Death card. So, okay, that's good to see. I do like that. So it seems like you did walk away, or they did walk away from this pattern of behavior. Like somebody just was done. They were over it. They're like, I'm so done with these fights. I'm tired of this competition. I'm tired. Maybe there's some jealousy involved. I don't know. But there's something here where somebody said, I am done with this. I'm over it. This is too much for me. Then you had the Tower. Yeah. So there was definitely a Tower moment that happened. Scorpio energy. We do have Pluto in retrograde. So definitely somebody walked away. Somebody unexpectedly was like, I'm finished. You or this other person was like, I'm finished. And the other person didn't really expect that to happen. Okay. Yeah. Somebody made a judgment call. So somebody walked away from a relationship, or on a spiritual level, Saturn and Aries for you, Gemini, with the Five of Wands, just for all of you on a spiritual level, in a general sense, you guys decided, I want to go to school, or I want this job, or I want to know more about the world. I want to know more about myself. I want to know what more I have in me. how much more power I have inside of me, right? I want to know more about my brain and how much more I can, strengthen my brain and stretch my brain and just, you just want to jam a bunch of knowledge into your brain, Gemini. That's who you are as a person. And some of you guys are deep thinkers. You guys maybe, even philosophers to a certain degree. And it's time, Gemini, with this Tower, this Judgment, and this Death card. It is time. It is time for you to go after this. It is time for you to go back to school. Go buy those books, or go to the library and start reading, studying, take those notes, right? Go to those lectures, take those online classes, right? Go to that workshop. Change your diet. Whatever it is that you have been putting off in your life that you know is going to change your life for the better, right? With the Leo, with the Sun card here, do it. There's no more excuses. Saturn is no excuse type of energy. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So then you have the Two of Pentacles in a different deck here. Pick one, Gemini. Pick one. You have to choose one before you can go towards the other. Two of Pentacles in two different decks. You have to choose which one you're going to go with. Okay, let's go ahead and quickly clarify. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to, take too much time. Let's clarify the Ace of Wands here for this Saturn and Aries transit for you, Gemini. Ace of Wands. Okay, so we have the Justice card here. So once again, cutting out what no longer serves you, bringing things into balance. Whatever there is too much of, you need to kind of balance it out, right? You need to distribute between two other places. So if you're giving too much attention to one thing, that means that there's another thing that you're not giving your attention to. Okay? So if you're not giving too much attention to yourself and you're giving attention to other people or a job, then that means you need to, change it up. You need to switch your focus to you, right? For those of you, if you're, maybe you realize during this Saturn in Aries transit that you're maybe too self-centered, or maybe you've been focusing a lot on yourself but not on other people, or you've been kind of wallowing in self-pity, or you've been in hermit mode, or you've been depressed and you haven't really been hanging out with your friends or really giving your time to your kids or your significant other or to the things that you love, your hobbies, again, you need to switch your focus to that. You have Ace of Pentacles, clarifying the Ace of Wands. You have the Justice card. And you have the Knight of Wands. There's Sagittarius again. Then you have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands in two different decks. So again, stop fighting the universe. Stop fighting. Stop being in conflict with the things that you pray for, Gemini. If you're praying for something, let that seed incubate. You've planted the seed, you've prayed for it, let it incubate. If you ask for something, don't think that it's just going to be handed to you in full payment, right? Full compensation, full answered prayer. No, sometimes it's going to get to you in increments, in little tiny nuggets of blessings. So that's why you have to pay attention here. Saturn is here to help you pay attention. And again, if you're not going back to school, Gemini, study. The card of study is like you need to pay attention to little bitty things that are happening that are building up to what you've prayed for. Does that make sense? Others of you, if this is a person that you want to reconcile with or you're thinking about, once again, this is somebody that you fought with a lot. But I do get the sense that as you move, if you've taken a break from this person, or if you're just focusing on yourself, if you're in a committed relationship and you are like, I'm not thinking about breaking up with somebody, I'm not broken up with anybody, I'm still with my person, great. You still need to focus on yourself. Focus on your business, focus on your job, focus on your money and your wealth, your health, because the Ace of Pentacles is also about health. Focus on your health, Gemini. So if you're in a relationship, or if you're thinking about somebody as a friend or a family member and you're just not really sure like how to go about the relationship anymore because of this conflict, well, you just need to pull your energy back and you need to focus on your health, your mental, emotional, and physical health. That should be your primary focus right now for a while, for this Saturn and Aries transit, maybe for the next couple of years. I'm not saying on a daily basis and not to talk to this person, that's up to you, but maybe you just kind of put your phone on Do Not Disturb and throughout the day you just focus on yourself and then you focus on that person later on in the day. I don't know. That's something for you to decide, okay? Because this toxic behavior, you're done with. Saturn is done with it. So if Saturn's done with it, so are you. You should be done with it too, okay? All right, let's go ahead and clarify the Temperance card really quickly, last but not least, and then we'll pull your oracle message towards the end of the reading, okay, Gemini? Clarify the Temperance card, ancestors, for Gemini. For the Saturn and Aries transit. Ace of Wands again, Seven of Swords, the Temperance card again, bottom of the deck, you have the Ten of Pentacles. So if this is more on the material level type of situation, this is a person or this is a job, somebody's going to ask you to come back, and they're going to pay you more for it possibly. Others of you, you're going to go back to school or you're going to start, you know, studying more, and it's really going to blossom. You know, it's really going to bless you for the long term, Gemini. Others of you, again, this is a person, you're not sure if you can trust them 100%, but again, this person still has a lot that they need to work on, okay? They have a lot that they need to work on, especially if they have Aquarius in their chart, if they have Sagittarius in their chart, Leo, Aries. Like, this person has a lot to work on. They may have a temper, they may have their own issues. Some of you guys are dealing with somebody who drinks too much or too heavy, they drink heavily, or maybe this is you. But there is someone that is not, they're not really sure if they can trust you 100% for some reason, or you feel like this towards them, or both. But I do sense that there is someone who might be kind of quietly or in a sneaky way trying to get back into your life. Okay. And this is someone that I see Saturn saying, like, this is a blessed union. Okay. I'm not saying that it's romantic. It can be a friendship. It can be a business partnership. It could be some family members. But I do get the sense that things, for the most part, are good. But to you, Gemini, you might feel like, I don't know if I can trust that person 100%. So it might be a no for you. But Saturn is saying there's promise here. There's promise here. It's just that there might be some things that you definitely need to face within yourself first. So you need to step away from this person, or just pull your energy back and let Saturn deal with that person as Saturn is dealing with you. Okay. But overall, in the long run, for the long term, if you follow Saturn's orders, you're going to be blessed beyond anything that you can even comprehend right now. Okay. But like I said, Saturn is all about you, okay, as an individual. It's all about you, and it's zeroing in on anything that you're doing or not doing. And that might actually hit a person's ego pretty hard. But that's okay. We want the ego to die every time, right? Because we want our spirits and our souls to be in sync with what the gods have in store for us. All right, let's pull one more card, Gemini. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising placements for this Saturn and Aries transit for their overall advice and guidance. Let's see. Okay, so you have home. So some of you guys, this card is speaking to you guys about your actual home, and really, maybe you guys need to stay home more often. You guys need to maybe start having house parties or something, or just having a little get together at your home. But this Saturn is speaking to you guys about what makes you feel at home. Do you feel at home in your body? Do you feel at home in yourself? Right? The people that you hang around, do they feel at home? If not, then that is going to contribute to bad health. It's going to contribute to your mental health and, depression and, people pleasing or doing too much for people in order to keep them, things like that. Whatever is going on, Gemini, where do you feel at home? Do you feel at home? And if not, that's what Saturn wants to pinpoint. And wherever you do feel at home, that's where your heart's calling, right? So those are your messages, Gemini. I hope that you have a good season. I hope that Saturn in Aries blesses you and actually brings you these blessings that you're looking for, that you're looking forward to. And if you're not really sure what to look forward to, again, this is why I give you these messages, so that you guys can understand, like, this is what Saturn has in store for you guys. This is what your ancestors have in store for you guys. Go after what you want, you guys. Choose yourselves. Choose yourselves. Fill your cup up before you can even come close to contributing to someone else's cup. Okay? And make sure others are contributing to your cup being filled as well during this Saturn transit. Okay? Much love and light to all of you. I wish you guys the very best of luck on this journey. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to see you guys in your next reading. Bye, Gemini.